Greetings, mathematicians. What I'm going to walk you through today is lesson 2.3, Primetime Investigation 2.3. Yes, we skipped 2.2, but don't worry, you didn't miss out on much. All right, today we are going to be talking about the greatest common factor. And this is kind of like, the sibling to what we talked about last class, least common multiple. Now we're talking about this thing called greatest common factor. As a reminder, we talked about what factors were and what multiples were last class. Again, I'll refresh your memory here. Remember, multiples are like doing your times tables, right? The list will go on and on and on forever, right? Then we have, on the other hand, factors. Factors are the numbers that go into other numbers. You multiply factors together to get a number, right? And factors, the list of factors does not go on forever and ever. It has to stop, because if I were listing the factors of 8, the biggest number that goes into 8 is the number itself. So today we are going to switch our minds and talk about factors once more. Okay? So let's talk about what greatest common factor is. Let's break this down word by word. The word greatest just means biggest. It's the biggest number in the group. It's the number with the most value. It's the biggest. It's the greatest. Common. Remember last time we talked about things you have in common with other people, right? The things that are similar, the things that are the same. And of course, we already talked about factors. And the abbreviation for greatest common factor is GCF. And we'll be using this quite a bit. Okay? Now, just like the least common multiple, the greatest common factor requires 3 steps to complete. So we're going to go ahead and write those down. Step 1. You're going to list all of the factors. For each number. Because, right, with these types of problems, we're comparing two numbers, 2 or more numbers. So list all of the factors for each of them. Once you've done that, you're going to identify the common factors. So after you've created your 2 lists of factors, what numbers are shared? What numbers are the same? Identify the common factors. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and find yourself the greatest or biggest common factor. And I want you to please write out greatest common factor, because I want you to know what GCF stands for. So if you do these 3 steps, you can definitely find the greatest common factor. Let's take a look at an example problem. So the problem might be presented as, find the GCF, greatest common factor, of 8 and 12. Now, step 1, list all the factors. I know the factors of 8, the numbers that go into 8, start with 1, 2, 4, and 8. Now we need to find the factors of the second number, 12. So I know that 1 goes in there, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Write out all the factors for each number, please. Now step 2 asks me to identify or find the common factors. What numbers do they share? I see a 1 in both lists. I see a 2 in both lists. I also see a 4 in both lists. So I'm going to write those down. I see 1, 2, and 4. Those are the common factors. Now looking at this list, step 3, find the greatest common factor. Which one is the biggest? Actually, let me highlight it here in yellow. The biggest number that they have in common, or the biggest factor they have in common, is 4. So we say 4 is the greatest common factor. And that is our answer. Let's try another example, folks. Here's example number 2. Find the greatest common factor of 16 and 12. So again, 3-step process. There we go, now I'm in camera. 3-step process. Step 1, list all of the factors for each number. So I need to list the factors for 16. I know that 1 goes in there, 2 goes into 16, 3 does not, 4 goes into 16, 5 does not, 6 does not, 7 does not, 8 goes into 16, and then 9 doesn't, 10 doesn't, 11 doesn't, 12 doesn't, 13, 14, 15. Oh, I think we're finished at 16. So 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Let's find the factors of 12, which we already wrote down up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Identify the common factors. They both have a 1. They both have a 2. They both have a 4. Is that it? I believe so. Write them down. That's step 2. The common factors are 1, 2, and 4. Now you're on your final step. Find the greatest common factor. Find the biggest number that both of these numbers have in common. Find the biggest factor, please, and that would be 4. 4 is the GCF, the greatest common factor. And there you have it. That's how you find the greatest common factor.